It's Ask the Optimist.
Dear Optimist, my husband, who knows very well that I love nothing more than wearing bonnets, recently bought a convertible. He's always doing passive-aggressive things like this. Like once, after I had all my teeth pulled, he bought a big box of Cracker Jacks. Another time, when I had very serious burns over 90% of my body, he tricked me into getting a hot oil massage, then tripped me so that I fell into a vat of hydrochloric acid. I've long since forgiven him for these misunderstandings, but tell me, is there any way I can be optimistic about this bonnet situation? Signed, Mad, due to no more bonnets.
Dear Mad, you can still wear bonnets while riding in a convertible, but you will just have to have more of them to start with. What I recommend, buy a large number of bonnets, place them in the car, begin driving. When one blows off, put on another from your enormous stockpile. And just think of all the happiness you will create in your wake as people who cannot afford bonnets scurry after your convertible collecting your discards. Super!
Dear Optimist, my wife is a terrific artist, except when it comes to me. Whenever she paints me, my legs are half the length of my torso. My face looks like the face of a frog. My feet are splayed outward unattractively like the feet of some hideous reptile, and I have a smug, pinched look on my face. Anyone else she paints, they look exactly like themselves. I pretend not to notice, but recently, at my wife's one-woman show, I could tell our friends were discussing this, and I felt embarrassed. How might I have handled this in a more optimistic way? Signed, Hurt but Hopeful.
Dear Hurt Butt, after receiving your letter, I sent a private investigator to your home with a camera. And guess what? Have you looked in the mirror lately? Your legs are squat. Your face is the face of a frog. Your feet are reptilian. Your expression is smugged and pinched. So, not to worry. Your wife is a terrific artist.
Dear Optimist, a few years ago, I inadvertently declared war on the wrong country. Also, I perhaps responded a little slowly to a terrible national disaster. Also, many of my friends are under indictment. Well, also, the organization of which I'm in charge is all of a sudden in huge crushing debt. And I still have over 2 years left in my job. Advice? Signed, In Somewhat Over My Head.
Dear In Somewhat, stay the course, admit to nothing, disparage your enemies, perhaps declare another war? Do you have any openings in your cabinet? It sounds like you could use a little optimism. What would you pay? Have your people call my people.
Dear Optimist, recently my wife left me for another man. Not only that, the other man was bigger, better looking, and richer than me, and, at least according to my wife, better endowed, and with a nicer singing voice and less back hair. To tell the truth, I'm feeling somewhat pessimistic about the situation. Advice? Signed, depressed because my penis is smaller relative to that of my wife's new and more handsome lover.
Dear small penis, why not try to look on the bright side? At least he is not more articulate than you.
Dear Optimist. Oh, yes, he is. I forgot that.
Dear small penis, no worries. I believe in you. She is clearly not the right woman for you, and by accepting this...
Actually, Ralph speaks 5 languages and is just finishing up a translation from the Sanskrit of an ancient text on social deportment. And Judy is the right woman for me. I just know it. I could never love anyone else. I'd rather die.
Wow, no wonder she left you. You are so negative. Also, somewhat pig-headed.
I know, right? That's exactly what Judy always said. What's the point of living anymore? I'm just going to take these fast-acting suicide pills.
You know, small penis, you don't seem to understand optimism at all. What is the essential quality of the optimist? He is non-pessimistic. What is the essential quality of the pessimist? They think too much, then get all depressed and paralyzed. Like you, small penis. Me, I prefer to think as little as possible and stay peppy and active. If something is bothering me, I think of something else. If someone tells me some bad news, I ignore it. Okay, small penis? Hello? Oh, well, I guess he's off moping somewhere. Next!
I am an emaciated single mother living in a vast famine-affected region of Africa with my 4 starving children. Rebels frequently sweep them from the hills with automatic weapons and kill many of us and violate and abuse the others. All our men are dead or have been driven away, and there is no food or fresh water to be had. I would be very appreciative of any advice you might be able to offer us. Signed, not altogether hopeful.
Dear Hopeful, thanks so much for writing. Perhaps it would be of some consolation for me to tell you what a vast minority you are in. There are, relative to the world's population, very few people, quote, in your boat. Most of the rest of us are not starving or in danger. And, in fact, most of us do not even know that you are starving and in danger, and are just out here leading rich, rewarding lives, having all kinds of fun. Does that help? I hope so. And remember, trouble can't last forever. Soon, I expect, your troubles will be over.
Dear Optimist, recently, my father-in-law backed over me with his car. When I complained, he backed over me again. When, from beneath the wheels of his car, I complained again, he got out of his car, covered me in molten metal, hauled me to a public park, mounted me on a pedestal, and placed at my feet a plaque reading, "Sloth." What gives? I'm trying to think about this incident in an optimistic way, but I am having some difficulties as my chin itches and I am unable to reach it with my bronze-encrusted arms. Signed, I love parks, but hey, this is ridiculous.
Dear loves parks. Oh, really? Bronze-encrusted arms? Then how did you make this call?
Well, one of my arms is not totally bronze-encrusted.
Then why don't you scratch your chin with that arm? Is that you, small penis? I thought your voice was familiar. Were you faking it just now when you said you were taking those pills, and you're not really encrusted in bronze at all, are you?
That's right, genius. I am not dead, and I am not encrusted in bronze, and I am not giving up, and in fact, I am going to go and try to get Judy on the phone right now. If she'll just listen to me, then I'll know she'll...